Greetings. Dumelang Sanbonani. Okay, guys, we're still carrying all of the basic conditions of employment, chapter 4, which in the last video we're dealing with the remuneration. So we're still carrying on there. Now we're going to jump into the information about remuneration, which is normally called the salary advice or pay slips, depends on how you decide to refer to it. Information about remuneration. 1. An employer must give an employee the following information in writing on each day the employee is paid. A. The employer's name and address. The employee's name and occupation. C. The period for which the payment is made. The employee's remuneration in money. E. The amount and purpose of any deduction made from the remuneration. F. The actual amount paid to the employee. And G. If relevant to the calculation of the employee's remuneration, the employee's rate of remuneration and overtime rate. The number of ordinary and overtime hours worked by the employee during the period for which the payment is made. The number of hours worked by the employee on a Sunday or public holiday during that period. And if an agreement to average working time has been concluded in terms of section 12, the total number of ordinary and overtime hours worked by the employee in the period of averaging. Number 2, the written information required in terms of subsection 1 must be given to each employee at the workplace or at the place agreed to by the employee. And B, the duration, and B, during the employee's ordinary working hours or within 15 minutes of the commencement of or conclusion of those hours. Let me repeat that. During the employee's ordinary working hours or within 15 minutes of the commencement or conclusion of those hours. Deductions and other acts concerning remunerations. An employer may not make any deduction from an employee's remuneration unless A. Subject to subsection 2, the employee in writing agrees to the deduction in respect to a debt specified in the agreement, or B. The deduction is required or permitted in terms of a law, collective agreement, court order, or arbitration award. 2. A deduction in terms of subsection 1A may be made to reimburse an employer for loss or damage only if A. The loss or damage occurred in the course of employment and was due to the fault of the employee. B. The employer has followed a fair procedure and has given the employee a reasonable opportunity to show why the deduction should not be made. C. The total amount of the debt does not exceed the actual amount of the loss or damage. And D. The total deductions from the employee's remuneration in terms of this subsection do not exceed 1/4 of the employee's remuneration in money. 3. A deduction in terms of subsection 1A in respect of any goods purchased by the employee must specify the nature and quantity of the goods. Number 4, an employer who deducts an amount from an employee's remuneration in terms of subsection 1 for payment to another person must pay the amount to the person in accordance with the time period and other requirements specified in the agreement, law, court order, or arbitration award. Number 5, an employer may not require or permit an employee to A. repay any remuneration except for overpayments previously made by the employer resulting from an error in calculating the employee's remuneration. Or B. acknowledge receipt of an amount greater than the remuneration actually received. Payment of contribution to benefit funds. This is very important because we've got employers who deduct money from people, but they don't pay it over to Provident Fund, Pension Fund, UIF, or even to the unions. For the purpose of this section, a benefit fund is a pension, provident, retirement, medical, or similar fund. Number 2, an employer that deducts from an employee's remuneration any amount for payment to a benefit fund must pay the amount to the fund within 7 days after deduction being made. Any contribution that an employee is required to make to a benefit fund on behalf of an employee that is not deducted from the employee's remuneration must be paid to the fund within 7 days of the end of the period in respect of which payment is made. Number 4, this section does not affect any obligation of an employer in terms of the rules of the benefit fund to make any payment within a shorter period than that required by subsections 2 or 3. Right. All right. Calculating of remuneration and wages. Number one, an employee's wage is calculated by reference to the number of hours the employee ordinarily works. Number two, the purpose of calculating the wage of an employee by the time an employee is deemed ordinary to work. Now, A, 45 hours in a week unless the employee ordinarily works a lesser number of hours in a week. B, 9 hours in a day or 7.5 hours in the case of an employee who works for more than 5 days a week, or the number of hours that an employee works in a day in terms of an agreement concluded in accordance with section 11, unless the employee ordinarily works a lesser number of hours in a day. Number three, an employee's monthly remuneration or wage is 4 1/3 times the employee's weekly remuneration or wage, respectively. Number four, an employee's remuneration or wage is calculated either wholly or in part on a basis other than time, or if an employee's remuneration or wage fluctuates significantly from period to period. Any payment to that employee in terms of this act must be calculated by reference to the employee's remuneration or wage during A, the preceding 13 weeks, or B, if the employee has been in employment for shorter period, that period. Number five, the minister may by notice in the Gazette, after consulting with the Commission and NEDLAC, determine whether a particular category of payment, whether in money or in kind, forms part of an employee's remuneration for the purpose of any calculation made in terms of this act. B, without limiting the minister's powers in terms of paragraph A, the minister may 1. Determine the value of a formula for determining the value of any payment that forms part of remuneration. 2. Place a maximum or minimum value on any payment that forms part of remuneration. And 3. For the purpose of any calculation, differentiate between different categories of payment and different sectors. C. Before the minister issues a notice in terms of paragraph A, the minister must publish a draft of the proposed notice in the Gazette and invite interested parties to submit written representations on the draft notice within a reasonable period. Okay, guys, thank you very much. We're done with chapter 4 of the basic conditions of employment. Again, guys, those who like what they see, please subscribe to the channel. At the bottom of the video there's a subscribe button that you can press on to subscribe to the channel. Please share on your different platforms, social medias. Please share this channel, share this video with others. Let's grow it together. Ra leboha. Lesedi.